Good evening and thanks for joining us. 50 years ago, it was the story that shook the world. An American president, hardly past his first 1,000 days in office, was shot and killed in Dallas, Texas, the victim of an assassin's bullet. But his legacy has lived on. John F. Kennedy created hope. He inspired a generation to look beyond themselves. And even those who weren't alive when he was killed know his legendary words: ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Eric Sorensen is in Dallas for us tonight. Eric?
Donna, it really was the most shocking news event in 50 years until 9/11. It was worldwide, and at the same time, it was deeply personal. And if you're old enough, you'll always remember where you were when you heard President Kennedy's been shot.
The limousine appeared from behind the crowd, then I started filming.
Tina Pender remembers she was right there, across from the school book depository with her dad's camera as the Kennedys drove by. A moment later,
I heard 3 gunshots. I looked up at the buildings to see who was throwing firecrackers out the window, because that's what I thought it was. And then some man pulled me to the ground. It was a very strange feeling, and it still is.
It still is for millions around the world. Those pictures, grainy and graphic, seared in our memories.
It appears as though something has happened in the motorcade route.
It was incomprehensible.
From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
For 4 days, the agony was shared in a way never experienced before, on television
during a motorcade drive through downtown Dallas,
and worldwide. Unforgettable images, the First Lady insisting on wearing the blood-stained dress and standing steadfast with Lyndon Johnson as he was sworn in as president. Lee Harvey Oswald arrested, then killed by Jack Ruby. And finally, a grief-stricken nation watching together that painful procession. The veiled widow and her brave little boy saluting his dad. Newsman Canadian Robert McNeil covered the assassination, and he was overcome.
At the sound of the pipes, I was suddenly flooded with tears. There were tears running down my face.
It was as traumatic an event as Americans have ever experienced in their history.
What was it about Kennedy? His optimism inspired a new generation.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
The youngest president ever elected, and his beguiling wife and family, made the country feel young and modern. Kennedy stared down the Soviets and stared up at the moon. And to the last day, he charmed, even when refusing to don a Texas Stetson.
I'll put it on in the White House on Monday. If you'll come up there, you'll have a chance to see it there.
Today, the city of Dallas did something it has struggled to do for 50 years, unselfconsciously honor the fallen president with a ceremony and monument in Dealey Plaza.
Hope and hatred collided right here in Dallas. Our president had been taken from us, taken from his family, taken from the world.
A minute of silence at the exact moment where once gunshots rang out. Whether people believe Kennedy was killed by a lone gunman or not, that day changed Americans' outlook.
The Kennedy assassination was really the dividing line when before then, Americans tended to accept at face value what the U.S. government told them. After 1963, they didn't.
Kennedy's story has evolved. Turns out he was a womanizer, but mostly his legacy remains intact.
I think the legacy is the promise, the unfulfilled promise. It was cut short, and because it was cut short, the mystique of it has lasted these 50 years.
That's why every one of us remembers where we were when we heard. Donna?
All right, Eric Sorensen in Dallas, thank you so much. The death of John F. Kennedy left an indelible mark on Canadians, too. Across the country, people who were alive back in 1963 have clear memories of that day.
I remember exactly where I was. My teacher came into the classroom and told us, and she was so upset
A lot like 9/11, you know, the same sort of thing, details revealing themselves. And I remember hoping it didn't lead to World War III.
It was the end of Camelot. We entered into a new kind of zone after that, much scarier zone.
Principal came into the classroom, turned on a television set, and we just all sat and watched. I was probably about grade 2, so I hadn't experienced that kind of thing before.
I was at university. I was actually working the front desk at the residence as a student volunteer, and the word came through, and everybody was just in tears.
So many remembering today. You can find much more about JFK on our website, including photos from Dallas then and now and extended interviews. You'll find that all at globalnews.ca.